Cool stories from your communities.
Just having a little snack here on the 3+U set this morning. That's Charlie. Is it a he or a she?
Female.
This is she. Tish Gale Martin is here, and she's super excited today because she's brought with her Mark McKnight, who she talks about you behind your back all the time, Mark. Mark is the president and CEO at Reflection Writing. When you came on board years ago, Tish came in just exuberantly thrilled because of the passion you bring to the Nature Center.
That's so nice to hear.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Everything's always changing over there. You know, Tish comes our way every month, and she always will have something to share about a program happening or the campfire series. People are learning more and more about what you are, but the story is complex. Every animal you have has a story. Y'all have developed an app that has you here today.
Yes, yeah, we're really excited about this. It's provided to us by Bloomberg Philanthropies, and it's called Bloomberg Arts and Culture. Bloomberg Connects is another name for it. So you can search for it in the App Store, whichever platform you're on. It's on both. And we have been through a process. It took us years to get this done. I actually found it in Central Park. So I was visiting one of our supporters up there, staying with him. We went to walk around the park, and all over the park there are these signs that say, enhance your visit, learn more, and it has this QR code to this app. And so I downloaded it, of course, and I'm a history nerd and just interested in all the different stories. And so starting to listen to this and go through the app, and I thought, I wonder what this costs. I wonder if this is the kind of thing we could bring to Reflection Writing to tell all these layered stories that we have. And so I dug into it and reached out. And it turns out this is one of the things that Mike Bloomberg specifically does as part of his philanthropy. He wants these stories to be told. He wants cultural institutions in places like ours that have sometimes complex conservation messages and all these kind of behind the scenes cool facts. He wants people to have that experience.
Right.
And he got to experience that when he first made some money in his technology platform. And he got behind the scenes tours of cultural institutions in New York, like the Met. And he got to see all this conservation work that was going. And I love this story because he said he had no idea how much work it takes to kind of have a museum and to care for these paintings and all the things that people are doing behind the scenes. And he said, I want everybody to hear these stories and learn more about this. And so he gave money to a bunch of different institutions, ultimately ended up creating, it's essentially a company. We had a whole team of people. We had editors. They sent us sound equipment. And we just started collecting these stories and working on putting it all together.
So he created the app, Bloomberg did. Then I guess y'all had to almost petition for it like you would a grant? Was it?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It was just like applying for a grant.
And then did you bring together your own production team, or did they provide it to you?
So they had all kinds of support for us. They sent the audio recording equipment, and we went around internally and interviewed supporters and staff and put these stories together. And then they provided translation or transcription. So you send it off to be transcribed so that it's one of the main goals for the app is accessibility.
Right.
So we wanted people. The thing about audio that's so cool is if you're sight impaired, we're describing what you would see there.
Correct.
The app can tell if you have a screen reader or any kind of accommodations set up by default, and it'll just make things larger. It's doing all these things behind the scenes that we don't even think about, and we're not experts in, but they are.
Is it for iPhone and Android?
It is.
Okay,
yes.
So let's say that I'm at Reflection Writing this weekend, and I'm one of a throng of people, and so everybody can't get up close at the same time, but I have the app. Would it then tell me about Charlie, maybe, or would it tell me about how you come to get the injured animals that then you rescue? How far back does the history go?
Yeah, I think we're working on adding things now. So right now we're touching on sort of the high points. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then eventually we will get deeper into each animal and specific trees and different areas on the property. So we're really just getting started with it.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. We started with kind of the baseline to launch and told the kind of most broad story, and we start with geological history. So we go back 200 million years on this thing, and we say, hey, the richness of animal and plant life that you find on this site that's so unique to this place comes from the geological history. And so and that's not something that any of us are experts in. We don't have a geologist on staff.
Right.
But as you dig into this story, you start to realize that that's why it's such a special place.
So will it be something where you kind of, based on where you are at reflection writing, you're choosing to hear different things?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Exactly. And in fact, we had Leela Phillip, who is a best-selling author of a book called Beaverland: How One Weird Rodent Made America. We brought her in to speak a few years ago when the book first came out. And everybody thought it was crazy.
Fascinating.
But it since has become a bestseller, has reprinted a bunch of times. We were on the phone last week, and we've stayed friends after she came here, and she recorded a whole series of things about beaver. And so we're going to do a tour through the wetland, through the eyes of beavers, and kind of what their behavior is like, and just trying to bring something to light that somebody might not ever think about.
It's like a submersive experience then now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
When you're
and,
there.
and I think what's really interesting, and this is something I try to do with my teaching, is to just make those connections for people. Connect people with how plants affect animals and how animals affect plants, and how it's a symbiotic relationship. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And then to get people to really appreciate the land, because the land depends on both plants and animals to survive.
What I love too about it, I know it's, I guess, designed to really experience there on the property, but once it's on your phone, it's on your phone.
You got it.
So if you're there for a visit and you think, what was that I heard? You can play it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, and actually I forgot the exact number, but the Bloomberg team told us that there's a pretty large percentage of users who are coming from outside the region. So one of the things that'll be interesting is to see, if somebody is in New York in Central Park and they start digging in, like, I'm going to go to Chattanooga on vacation, what should I go check out? We're the first cultural institution on this app in this region, but we hope that everybody else will join us and go through this as well, so that you can see the hunter and you can see sculpture fields, things like that.
Right. So what's the app called?
It's called Bloomberg Arts and Culture.
Okay. That's what we want to go download on our phones.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can go reflectionwriting.org/guide is where you can go find it. And then you can see kind of everything from our side. But one of the things that I think is most interesting about it is the cultural history.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we haven't told a lot of that story, but we are a Civil War battlefield. The place has been traversed by humans for thousands of years.
I have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And Charlie has to keep eating. But go to reflectionwriting.org, download the app, and aren't we lucky? Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
The McMahon Law Firm, they went above and beyond for me, and I appreciate them.